Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Mindful LCA Podcast. Today's episode is one I've been really looking forward to because it speaks to something so many women experience but don't always talk about openly: the journey of changing our minds, especially when it comes to motherhood. For some of us, or some of you, the decision to not have kids feels clear and certain for years. Maybe it comes from our upbringing, our goals, our fears, or simply from knowing what we want for ourselves. And then life happens. We grow, we heal, we discover new parts of ourselves, or we enter a new season that opens up a different truth. And suddenly, the idea of becoming a parent doesn't feel as impossible or as unwanted as it once did. In this conversation, we're exploring that exact transformation. We're sitting down with someone who once felt sure she didn't want children and now finds herself embracing the idea of motherhood with curiosity, hope, and intention. We'll walk with her through her early beliefs, the reasons she once held so strongly, the moment her perspective began to shift, and where she stands today. This episode isn't about convincing anyone to want kids or not want kids. It's about giving space to evolve. It's about honoring the complexity of being human. And it's about reminding ourselves that changing your mind isn't a failure, it's growth. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's dive into this beautiful and deeply personal journey of self discovery, choice, and the courage to embrace a new truth. That was beautiful, right? Check this out and shit. But
That
before we
was
get going,
really nice.
how are you doing today?
I'm nervous. I'm a little nervous to talk about this
Mhm,
because it's we've had conversations. This my life sometimes feels very, very personal. So putting it out there
mhm.
is it's a little nerve-wracking for me, but I'm excited to see what comes out of it. I'm thinking that I might be even learning things about myself that I didn't even know after this episode, but we'll see. But I feel good other than that. Or I no, we can't say good. Um, I'm in a good mood today. Like I'm even though it's really like overcast, it might rain. Um, I still feel like jolly. So yeah, how are you?
Nice, nice. I want to say I feel relieved more than anything. I've been going through a lot of growth and a lot of changes, a lot of forgiveness, but I think most importantly, I thought I had all figured out and like, oh, you have an amazing awareness of self and all this shit and everything. And through conversations and meditation, I've been working a lot on my nervous system and a lot of identifying like, oh, you're fucking, this is thinking, this is not you, though this is catastrophizing, this is not you. And it's just been making like a world of a difference. And you know, facing some fears as well, and the craziness of like how facing something instead of like running away from it is like makes so much of a difference, and it helps you actually see it um, clearly. And you know, you're able to actually work at that fear instead of just turning around and running the other way, you know. So it's been
Mhm.
amazing. It's been an amazing couple of weeks. But yeah, let's get it going over here. um so my the question, the first question I have for you is like, when you were a kid just growing up, like what did you understand? Did you remember putting into any thought of like what is motherhood, or what does it mean, you know? What was your
Um,
understanding of motherhood as you were growing up?
I don't I don't necessarily remember or even like think that I thought about those things.
Mhm.
I think it was more like, um, sorry, I'm trying to like get comfortable and I can't. Um, I think the only thing that I can remember that I really like said was like if like I'm not gonna hit my children because like growing up, like my mostly my dad would um would hit us a lot. Um
Mhm.
with like the belt or um yeah, he would hit us a lot. Like his way of discipline um was mostly like physical discipline or abuse. And and I remember telling myself all the time like I'm not I'm not gonna hit my children. So I
Mm.
think like maybe like growing up it was almost like a default, like that was like I didn't know that at then, but it was like that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to have children. You are blurry. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
there you
blur
go.
blur you. Um so I think it was almost like a given. Like I was supposed to be a mom. And and I was like dating somebody in high school that like I really cared about. So then, you know, when you're in high school, you're like, we're gonna be together forever, and like we planned our whole life out or whatever. And we had said that when we were 20, we were gonna have a kid. And then 18 came about, and I was like, 22. And then 20 came about, and I was like, um, that's when we broke up. And then I was like, well, not gonna have children anymore.
Mhm.
Um, and I did have like a partner after that person. And the same thing, we like planned our whole life out, whatever. Um, but I was an undergrad, so I would say like, okay, maybe 26, right? And like I just kept like pushing it.
Mhm.
I think between I'm trying to think when it was that I was like I'm not gonna have any kids. I think after I ended that relationship when I was in undergrad, I was like I'm not gonna have children. I think I was like maybe like 25, like 25, 26, I think. And I was like I'm not. I'm like this is just too hard. Not that I knew, but I was like it's too much. Like why would I want to bring kids into like this ugly world? Like I'm not going to put a kid through shit that I was put through. Yes, I think it was actually around that time because um like some stuff was happening within my family, my immediate family that was like hard. Um, so like I was having a lot of conflict with my mom, with my dad, and I was like, fuck that. Like I don't want to bring a kid to experience all of this pain. Like this just feels like too much. The world is shit. Like there's absolutely no way. So I think from like 25 um probably until I got together with my ex-husband. From the beginning, like I did ask him, I'm like, do you want to have kids? And he's like, yes. So then in like I went into that relationship knowing that he wanted kids. So then um what when people would ask me, like, and as soon as we got together, when we started living together, like the first question that people would ask would be like, so para cuando los niños, right? Um and people would ask me like, do are you guys gonna have kids? And I'm like, well, I don't want to, but I knew coming into this relationship that he wanted to have children, so I'm gonna eventually have one. But it's not because like I have this yearning to be a mom. It's mostly because I knew coming into the relationship that my partner wanted to have kids, and I still wanted to be in that relationship. So I didn't want to take that away from him, because he was honest with me from the beginning. So if I were to have a kid with him, it was like because he wanted to have a kid. I was genuinely okay with not having one. Like I'm like I don't my life is chill. I like my life. I do whatever the fuck I want. So I'm like why would I want to ruin it um with any children? So that was that. We know how that ended up. So and you know right before December of 20, hello, what that is, it was not by, it was a coincidence or whatever, but a Christmas of 2022 we told our family that we were gonna start getting like ready to get pregnant the following year, 2023. And
Mhm.
the day that I told them, I told my family I was actually wearing the sweater. I just remembered. Um, so, but then 3 months after that, that's when my relationship ended with him. So then, um, after that, I was like, there's absolutely like no way I'm gonna have children after this. Like, I'm just gonna be the rich auntie that has like a lot of nieces and nephews, and like that will be that will be that. Um, and this year in Costa Rica, um, I went to a conference for therapists of color. And during the conference, they brought a matriarch, indigenous, two women, and they come from a matriarch society. Like their indigenous group is led by women. They're the ones that take care of like the land and stuff like that. So we were doing like a healing ceremony. Their sacred plant is cacao. So then during the ceremony, like they were passing the plant, and honestly, I can't. It was the crystals. I can't tell you like how or why, or I can't. But in that moment when somebody else gave me, and one of the things I think that they said was just like, um sit with the plant and see what it's calling from you. And as soon as I like grabbed it, I just felt this like rush of emotion, and almost like a divine message of like, you're gonna be a mom, you're gonna be a mom. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I just like, I remember like I just cried because I'm like, but like I don't I don't have a partner. Like how is this gonna play out? Um like in my head still, I didn't have like the nuclear place to actually like make that happen. Um but I was like, okay. Like I was trusting of that message, and was like, I guess we're gonna figure it out. We'll do it. So that started in February. In April of this year, I had a sweat lodge ceremony that the un temazcal, um, and the same thing of like, it was like a lot of cleansing, a lot of like getting your body ready for whatever it is that you wanted to birth. And the same message, it was for me when the guy told me like, okay, we're going to, because we've shared like sexual energy with people and stuff, so like cleansing your uterus and stuff. And I remember very distinctly like in it, as I was cleansing, telling myself like, I'm preparing my uterus to become a mommy. Like that is, um like that was like the goal. And um the guide, I don't think I like necessarily like told him exactly what it was that I was cleansing my uterus for. Um, but like one of the things that he told me was, because they they believe in like ancestral messages and stuff. And he told me, he's like, you know what you're here to do, like what you're meant to do. And I'm like, I know, like I know. And I did talk about like my masculinity, my femininity, all of that. Um, and one of the things that he told me was like, in order for you to get, like, it's cool that you're asking. They call them like las abuelas, las piedras, like whatever it is that you're asking, like it's cool, but they're asking for like your hair back. And I was like, oh, because I cut my hair and I really liked my short hair. Um, so then that's when I decided to start growing my hair out so I can like become this mommy. So this is like my offering to las abuelas, like growing my hair out so I can like birth this child. Um, I feel like I'm rambling now. So that has been a little bit of my journey and how I decided that I want to be a mom.
Hmm. Thank you for sharing. Um, I've always been interested, and the reason why, like, I asked you if you wanted to do this episode was into the decision, right? Like, I want to know, like always, what shapes you and what you believe and why you do the things that you do in that part of it. So,
Hmm.
if it's okay, if you don't mind, I want to dive more into that thought process that you said of the problems you were going through in your life and you remembering clearly, oh, I don't want, if this is what it is, then I don't want to bring a child into it, right?
Hmm.
So, kind of, I mean, it's just pretty straightforward, but maybe if I can take you back into that process and if you can remember specifically during those times and tell me more in detail what was going on and if you can remember like how did you get there, because I think you're doing something beautiful, because everybody that I've talked to is not willing, everybody that I talk to that it doesn't want to have kids doesn't have the courage to say that. You get me? I always
Just
been very interested. Like everybody that I asked to, like, oh, you want to have kids? Like, no, I don't want kids. And then I'm like, why? They just they take it as a challenge when I'm telling you about why not. And they've given me some honestly some bullshit as answers that I'm like, that's such a surface level answer. And like, obviously, maybe you're not comfortable with telling me, or you're not comfortable with yourself and going back there. Because I wonder, because what you said about your decision and saying if this is what the world is, I don't want it. I think that's probably the majority of people as an assumption, because I think there's always going to be some trauma, there's always going to be some deception, some brokenheartedness from your parents or something, and then the
Mhm.
fear, or maybe you don't feel prepared because of the fear that you have of all that, so then you don't want to do it. um so yeah, I think, just tell me more, if you can remember, of how you made that decision, and what was specifically going around, and what was it that you were more like, fuck this, like what was it that actually tell you, what were you more concerns about it, just so that I understand what you're saying, I understand what you said, but just so
Mhm.
the listeners can understand, because I already, like I said, I kind of figured that was going to be the case, but tell us more, like what is it, like what about that where you're like, nah, fuck that, I don't want it.
I think I think when I decided that I didn't want it was again like I was beefing with my dad a lot. Like there was a time where like I'm not proud of this, but like I didn't talk to my dad. Like I stopped talking to him. Um it was it was this very tumultuous time when like they moved from San Francisco to Vegas, and I had just moved back from like I got back to San Francisco from living for in Mexico April of 2016, and then in June, July they decided that they were going to sell the house and move to Vegas, and I was like, I just fucking moved back. Like we have been like waiting for this moment to be together for so long, for 5 years, and you're telling me you're leaving, and I was heartbroken. I was heartbroken because I'm like, you're leaving me. And I had like a good job over there. So like I didn't want to leave. So it almost felt like a slap on the face. When they did, and I get it. Like my dad was struggling with paying the mortgage. It was like a lot. Um, so then also when that happened, like just a lot of conflict with like family drama, and And just like the amount of pain that my father was, whether it was conscious or subconsciously, I was like, I could never do this to a kid. Like, there's no way I'm going to put a kid through this. Like, there's just no way. I can't. Like, as a daughter, even as an adult, experiencing this much pain, like, I'm not going to put a kid through that. Like, there's no fucking way that I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want this. I don't want this. Like, why would I bring a kid in here so they can suffer like I'm suffering? Like, absolutely the fuck not. Like, sign me the fuck out of that. Like, don't sign me up for that. So, and like, even before, when I would be like, yeah, I'll have a kid, I would go back and forth between, like, I'm gonna like beat the shit out of that kid, right? Because then at some point I had so much anger in me that I was like, I understand why my dad beat me. So I'm gonna do
Mm.
that. I have to beat this child so they can, like, that's the only way they'll understand and they'll actually be like a decent member of society.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, but when you were little, you would say that you wouldn't hit them. So, like, why are you saying that now?
Mm.
So I think it was just like how much pain that I had been carrying, that in my mind, I guess I knew something about me wasn't okay for me to be a parent right there and then. That I'm like, I'm gonna, and I can tell you now in retrospective, but like right there and then I was like, nah, fuck that. Like, kids a fucking nuisance, like, not a nuisance, a nuisance. Like, just, I'm gonna be annoyed and like, no, like,
Mm.
having to change dirty diapers, having to do, fuck that. Why would I fucking want that? But I think it was just like, I didn't I didn't think I would have the patience to go through that. And it makes sense. I didn't, right? Because I was carrying so much pain that I hadn't dealt with, that anything could trigger the fuck out of me. Now I can tell you again in retrospective. But back then I was like, nah. And even like during my marriage, when and I think like part of me like knew maybe like that marriage wasn't going to like last forever. Um because one, I would tell him like, if we get a divorce, and he would be so mad at me. He's like, why do you always say that? And I'm like, well, I don't know. You never know. You know what could happen. Um, but inside of me, I'm like, I don't know that I want to have a kid with this person. Like, I don't know that I want a kid with this person, because I think I part of me knew that I would raise that kid by myself, even though I was partnered. And after I think I told him that, I was like, um, right before, oh, actually, the day that I found out that he had an affair, we were talking, we were laying in bed, and I remember specifically telling him, like, you know what? I think, I think I am ready to be like a mom. I think I would be like, fuck it, let's do it. But because deep down I knew that maybe this was gonna happen, or that I was gonna be parenting that child by myself because of where you're at, that's why we haven't had a kid. And maybe like that yearning to be a mom was also there, but because I knew that this wasn't the person, I almost like told myself like nah, because I knew the struggle was going to be a lot, to having to, and he would say like, well, having a kid is different, like I would do things differently, and I'm like, you're not different right now, like why would it be different with a child? um but after, I think the shift for me was when One, I think it was because when I became single again and I started traveling and I started doing like whatever I wanted, I was like, this is the life. Like, yes, right? And then some friends started having like kids, and I'm like, I could not do this. Like, look, seeing them through pregnancy, seeing them through like birth, seeing them like my kid is sick again and be like, let's go do this. Oh, I can't because of my kid. I can't because of my kid. I can't because of my kid. And like how their lives were so planned around this kid. And I was like, why? Like, why? I'm like, again, no, not gonna do it. Like, I want to be able to have the motherfucking freedom to be like, hey, it is Friday afternoon. I don't have anything planned for this weekend. Do you want to take a motherfucking weekend trip somewhere? Let's roll. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. And a lot of like the friends that I have that are parents are like, I can't just get up and do shit. I'm like, I appreciate my freedom. I appreciate my sleep. I appreciate the fact that I can just be lazy on my ass. If I just want to start fish in my bed, I'm gonna do that. So I'm not gonna have a kid. But after like that message got to me, and I was doing one of the things that I love doing by being single, which was like traveling by myself in Costa Rica. And when that message gets to me, I'm like, but do we though? But do we? Because I'm like, this where we're at. Like, I'm gonna fucking 5-star resort chilling, all inclusive. And we really want to give this up? Like, girl, you sure? And even when I started sharing it with people from the conference, like um two friends that I like really, really love, las dos doctoras, they would be like, why the fuck would you want to do that? And they have kids, be like, fuck that. Having kids is overrated.
Mm.
And even with all of that, I'm like, I still want to do it. I still want to do it because I think after I've actually sort through my shit, sat with my shit, like I'm like, I think now I'm coming from like this place of like a lot of love. And I think that is part of like where I'm like within that healing ceremony too of I'm working so hard to be a good human being, to heal my wounds, to not repeat patterns, to heal my lineage back in. Well, it would be back, right? Because I don't have anybody to give this healing to. Um, but I'm like, I'm doing all of this hard work to clear my lineage to then it stops with me. Where I'm like, that's unfair. That's unfair to me. That is unfair to possible babies that can come. That is unfair to humanity. Because and I hope this doesn't come from a place of from ego or that it doesn't come across like that because that's not the intention. But literally yesterday, two people, two people that I work with, um, one in session, another one through a phone call. Both of them told me, "You are one of the best human beings I've ever met in my life." Granted, they know me in the therapist capacity. They don't know me as a human, but at the end of the day, how I show up in therapy is it's me. This is me, right? Like this is me caring for them, checking in on them, like let's work something out. Let's and I heard it twice in a day and I'm like, okay, I genuinely do believe I'm a good human being because I've worked so hard to work through my shit. So I have like all of this love to give. And I'm like, how am I not going to give somebody else that chance?
Mm.
This place of coming from love, right? Of like this kid that doesn't physically in this form exists yet, like it's already like here. I mean, In my brain, I think it's a girl. If it's not, that is okay. Half of her is already here. She's already in existence, and I'm like yearning for her. I'm yearning for this child, and I already love it so much. And it hasn't even been conceived in its human form. And I'm like, and I know that it'll it will have some trauma. I'm gonna hurt them. I'm going to fuck up. And I think being compassionate with myself, like I'm not going into this journey thinking of like I'm gonna be this like perfect mom. Like I know I'm at some point they're gonna hate me and they're gonna be like, "You're not my friend," and that's gonna be okay. Like I think I have enough compassion for myself to be like, "It's okay. It's okay," and I'm still going to do my best, not just to like give it to care for the baby in a way that we've been taken care of, to where like as long as con que tenga casa, vestido y sustento, pues ya lo demás es ganancia. Like I don't want that. Like I just want this kid to feel so so loved,
Mhm.
that it's like my offering to humanity. Because I'm like, I want more people to experience. And granted, like I don't know what their profession is gonna be, if they'll have a profession. Like I don't know. I don't even know if they'll make it to adulthood, right? But even if I were to like conceive a baby and for whatever reason had a miscarriage, or like all of those things that could potentially happen, like it would be okay.
Mm.
Even if that baby did not come to term and I had to like say goodbye, I still think that it has a purpose here
Mhm.
for humanity, not just for me, but for
Yeah.
humanity. So that's like my offering to my lineage, um, to the world. Yeah.
So much shit. So many
I feel
lines.
shy.
So many dots connecting and shit like that.
What do you mean?
Because now you know that you're not too much. Because now you know what it's like to feel love, to give love, to receive love. Because you've healed your shit. You know the actual reality of fucking parenthood. Because that shit, that belief didn't come from you. It says, well, if this fucking people are complaining about their kids all the time within your own parents, or where in my notes, being society fucking bitching and complaining about how hard it is kids and this, and you have no freedom to do this and you're having to do that. But that's coming from a perspective of unhealed fucking humans, which we know most of them are. So you took that in as like, oh, this must be what it's like, and this is what it. This is how I've gotten treated, and this is what everybody complains. So this is what must be like to have parents, to be a parent.
Mm-hmm.
But you knew some point that like that wasn't reality, and not because, like I said, you're not too much. You know who your self worth in this shit. Now you know what it's like. Then you're able to then be like, nah, what the fuck am I doing? Right? It's a different perspective. The other note that I have is like, you found out before you had kids how painful it was growing up, and everybody complaining, and all the questionable treatment of fucking children and shit like that. So then you were like, nah, fuck that. I don't want that. I found out after. And that's why I fucking yell at everybody for fucking mistreating them. You get me? Like your pain led you to be like, I don't want fucking kids. My pain led me to be like, what the fuck am I doing? And what the fuck are you all you doing? Like, look at all the shit that you guys are doing wrong. Like, this is not okay. I've been through, and then I'm telling you, because it's like I've been through so much shit in my life. I got treated like this. This happened to me. This is like that, like that. So then from my pain, so we're the same even in that way.
Mhm.
We just reacted differently to it, right? Obviously, I can't have fucking my own fucking kids and make the decision like literally within me. But once I figured that out and I looked at my past and I looked at what's happening, I'm able to be like, hey, this is so fucking important. What the fuck am I doing? And what the fuck are y'all doing? Like, how could you do this? How can you do that? Like, that's not okay. And that's not the shit, you know? But the more, the most important point is the other one, that was never your belief. You took in what society did, what society told you it meant to be a parent. And
Yeah.
now because you put in the work and you're like, wait a minute, like there's also another thought that I had is like you didn't know there was different options because all you knew was your parents and your society, right? You didn't encounter other people. You didn't think that there was a different possibility of having loving, healthy relationships with your kids where it's like a fucking asset and makes life so much better rather
Yeah.
than the things that you do miss on, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's amazing. And um I think that that's like I was telling you, obviously not for everybody, but I'm willing to make a guess that that's the overwhelming majority of people that don't want to have kids is because of that. It's because of not wanting to do that, not willing to go back or haven't gotten yet to learn about why. Because I'm gonna say this as another example. A friend of a friend of a friend got married to another friend, and she never wanted kids. But all of a sudden, somebody comes in and gives her love and has a relationship. Mind you, this person had never been in a true relationship before. They get together. She sees love. She starts believing a possibility that she's not gonna die alone. And all of a sudden, this person wants kids. So it's like, Gimme, it was a coping mechanism that you said, I'm gonna forever be alone. So I'm protecting myself and say, fuck that, I don't even want it before it even offers it because now, and then you make it part of your identity, It's it's well, most than anything, I want to just thank you for sharing that stuff and being vulnerable. Um, and yeah, you made me again. I'm always like every time I tell you, every time something clicks in my head, I'm always thankful for it. So thank you for making me grow and understand shit a little bit better. Because
Yeah.
then I think like always, I'm going to now hopefully be able to help more because of the experience that I have with you and your vulnerability and the way that you put it. I'm going to be like, oh, okay, maybe this is what's happening. So then when someone I think comes for help or when I see someone struggling, I should still wait and then ask for help. I'll be able to kind of give them a perspective or I have them maybe question to get to the point that you got to,
Yeah.
because because you think physiologically, like the physiologically, or when it comes to like scientific, our fucking bodies and our biology, we're literally wired to fucking have kids.
Yeah. That's
Like it's fucking there, and it's the strongest fucking thing that we have. It's literally built in our fucking DNA to want that. So then I think it's a fair question to ask, what the fuck happened to you that you're making the conscious decisions to go completely against what's been wired for thousands or millions of years? You get me?
yeah.
Like what is different? How are you, why are you choosing to offset everything that's been fucking set up in your biology to just be like as a fucking, every fucking species has that need over everything to just fucking procreate.
And I think it might be, and this is maybe when we get into capitalism, colonialism, and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Mhm.
um, because like I was watching a reel on Instagram, and they were talking about like, um, a guy was saying like his reasoning to not want to have children, right? And one of the things that he mentioned was that because um, capitalism wants you to have children, so you create workers and they can be exploited.
Mhm.
And it yeah, like it, and I think also like this expectation of like the um sorry, there's like a lot of thoughts going on in my brain. If we go back to ancestral ways, it was an honor to, like, birth was an honor to be, like, that was the purpose, right? To procreate. But because you were um calling a member of society, like, what do we need in this community so that we can give that to the community,
Yeah.
right? In a way that, so then we're going to care for the kiddo, for the child, and they're going to care for the community. So, like, a very reciprocal based approach. We don't live like that.
Yeah.
We don't live like that anymore.
Yeah.
Um, so I can understand why people are going against it, because it's like, one, we are not in a society where, I mean, healthcare isn't free. Like, there are a lot of things that I even have to, like, consider and think about, right? Like, I don't have health insurance here. So I'm like, okay, what is that going to look like for me? Like, um, because we live in a capitalistic society, like, being a parent is really difficult.
Yeah.
And we don't honor people that are able to give birth the way that our ancestors did, which is why, like, we've reduced, like, women as, like, you don't have a value unless you can give me a child that I'm only going to, and this is a lot of, like, also the patriarchy, right? Of, like, giving my seed and just passing it down without, like, that's all, like, even in Mexican families, like, I want somebody to have, like, my last name. For what? Like, they take so much pride in having this fucking, like, last name.
Of rapists, by the way.
Uh-huh.
I said of rapists and killers, by the way. You think I give a shit about that? I mean, that's where it
Um,
comes from, right? It's like a simple, like, my last name is Valencia. People from Spain came to Michoacan somehow, stole land, killed, raped, did all these things, and then, like, oh yeah, sure, I'm gonna tattoo it on my back.
yes. So I think, like, because of the world that we live in, it makes sense
Hmm.
why people don't have kids.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Because that's we just had that conversation. Remember that me and you were talking on my way back on the drive, and I think if I had more money, because my wife wants another kid, and she wants because so all my life I've been the one that works from home and the one that except for, well, maybe I don't know, but like we split off how much money we make, but she has a steady job and I'm able to go more like entrepreneur shit, right? Like I'm able to do the
Mhm.
cards that I'm doing now. I do the pictures, I did the carnitas or all that shit. So I have more freedom to decide or to mess around, and sometimes I make a lot more money than she does, sometimes I make a lot less or whatever. So for us to have a baby right now, because she wants to be the one that stays at home, but we're like, you're the one with the steady job, so the only way that it would work is it was to be flipped, and somehow I'm able to provide continuous fucking money from a 9 to 5. Then you can stay home, but it's literally finances that are stopping us from having another kid, and now that you put it that way, almost as a my counter shit and going against it is like, do it. Right? Just who I am. It's like, you're gonna let this
Do it.
motherfuckers dictate this fucking part of it. Figure the fuck out. Just do it. you know. But
And I think,
very
like,
true.
the it's so important. And before, when I would be like, nah, fuck that, I don't want to have kids, and then you're like, but you would be a good mom. I'd be like, no, thank you. Like, it's cool, right? Like, I don't want to. Um, Now I'm like, I that I have this awareness, this consciousness, if you will. I know that the kid that I bring into this world is not going to be, like, I'm gonna fight really hard so that this kid is not a product of capitalism. Like, I'm
Mhm.
gonna fight so hard so that they can be an autonomous being. Like, I already though I'm going to like help create this life, I'm already telling myself this kid isn't mine. They don't belong to me.
Mhm.
I want them to be an autonomous being. I want them to fight me on things, to challenge me on things, to be like, if I say like no, they're gonna be like, why not? And I'm gonna be like, because of this. My job is to make sure that you are safe. My job is to make sure that you are literate. My job is to make sure that you are in touch with nature. My job is to make you a loving human being. And this choice that I'm making is geared towards that. If
Mhm.
you still like, if your safety is not at risk, then like, okay, I'm gonna let you do whatever it is that you want. Whatever consequences comes from that, you gonna have to deal with it. I'll be here to support you, but it's gonna be your consequences, right? So like, I'm already like, I want this kid to like experience freedom.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, I
Mhm.
want them to be free. I don't want them to feel controlled. Like, I don't, and I don't know how I'm gonna find that balance, if I'm gonna find that balance between it's almost like I want it to be almost like at this retractable cord where if they want to be attached to my hip, like, you can be here as much as you want. And then be like, fuck off, mom. I'm leaving all the way over there. Be like, go over there. But we're still attached by this string. And I know that if you pull that string and I'm like, oh shit, my child needs me, that I can go to them. If I need my child and I can pull that string, but they can come to me. Um, but I don't want to, I don't know, I really have no desire to control them.
Mhm.
I
Yeah, I
guess
agree.
as long as they're safe
Yeah.
and as long as again, I'm gonna do everything within my power to have a woke child. Um, but yeah, I think that is a lot of the reason why people are like, I'm not gonna have a kid because
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring them into this society. And yes, I am gonna bring them into this society, but I'm gonna do everything within my power because even me, a product of like that society, of that pain, that trauma, that all of that compounded pain, like to a point I was able to still find my way to make it out, to be woke, to understand. So I'm like, imagine if that kiddo has like a parent that is already on that journey, how much more they can do and they can offer. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna bring a little Indio or India into this world. Like, I want them to be as ancestral as possible.
Mhm. And you're gonna achieve that just based on who you are. You don't even need to do anything. Like just who you are is gonna shape a lot of who they are. That's it. You don't need to like. You don't even think like, oh, I'm gonna teach them this way. I'm gonna go this way. I'm like, nah. They're gonna pick it up. However you carry yourself is how they're gonna carry themselves.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, that's what they're gonna do. Whatever you're interested in is what they're gonna be interested in. I mean, up to a certain point, and then of course they have the outside influences. But yeah, I agree with you on everything that you said. Yesterday, Aliyah, my 5-year-old, was like, "Oh, I didn't get a lot of playtime because I wasn't listening." I'm like, it's okay. You're not supposed to listen all the time anyway, so you're doing the right thing, you know. It's like I'd rather you be a pain in the ass to your teacher than be the quiet kid that just sit there and says yes to everything and ends up saying yes to everything and ends up at a fucking factory, yes to your boss, yes to this, yes to that. Like, no, fuck that. Like, even in the past, Mia's just disrupting people in class, and I'm like, that's what kind of what I want. I want disruptors, you know. I don't want fucking people to be sitting just being aligned. Like I want her to tear shit up and fucking be different and do that, you know. So I'm like, yeah. But
Yeah.
yes, you have to have a balance of like respect and all that stuff. But I'm like, the kids, the fucking kids, not supposed to sit there for fucking 6, 8 hours a
I
day and
know.
just fucking
I
be on their
know.
desk. They're supposed to be fucking around, moving around, and yeah, it just like I
Yeah.
said, it's just kind of hard to just be like to the teachers, be like, hey, you're actually the one fucking up. My kid is being normal, bro. You're tripping for wanting to sit your kids down for fucking 8 hours at a time. you're You're
I'm an
tripping
adult and I
balls
can't even do that.
for
Like,
real.
I need movement. Um, and to answer not even your question, but like do your statement where you say like you're not too much, I'm like, no, I do believe I'm too much. And that's not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing. I think part of me is also like learning to like reframe that.
Hmm.
Um, of before I'm like, oh, you're too much, Norma, where it was like a bad thing. But now I'm like, you're a lot, girl, and that's okay. And because I am a lot, because I am too much, like I know that I will be able to do this, right? Because of my too muchness is going to help me somehow, some way find the will, find
Yeah.
the strength to like carry this out. I was talking to my ancestral healer, and um and that was one of the things that she was telling me. She's like, you're gonna need like a lot of like, it's nice that you like wanted, but you're gonna need a lot of like voluntad to like actually like do this, because there are gonna be days where you're not gonna want to be like, why the fuck did I even do this? Where like the fear, the doubt is gonna come about. And even when that shows up, like you have to like tap into like, why am I doing this? um and I was telling my sister too, I'm like, oh my god, like I'm gonna I'm gonna dive into them fucking deep end, where I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be, oh, because I haven't even like disclosed this, but um I'm gonna somehow, some way gonna be a single mom. I don't have a partner that is gonna help me through this. Like I am choosing to be a single mom. Um so it's only going to be one of me. Granted, I think I have a beautiful community that is going to help me raise that kiddo. And like the other day I was asking my dad, I was like, Dad, are you ready to be a grandpa? And then he's like, why do I have to be ready to be a grandpa? And I'm like, because I'm gonna like bring a kid into your house. Are you gonna like get up at 3 in the morning when they're crying and to like rock them back to sleep? And he's like, yeah, why not? See, porque no haría? So um like I know, like when I told my siblings like, hey, like I'm gonna actually start the journey of like figuring out how I'm gonna get pregnant because I want a kid. And and all of them were like, we're so excited for you, like that kid is going to be so spoiled and they're going to be so loved. So I'm just looking forward to them, like really, like also being part of this journey. um yeah, like, and I think that's also like why I'm like, look, even if I don't have a partner, because I know that my community is so strong that if one day I'm tapped out, I can like knock on my sister's door next, like in front of me, and be like, sister, can you please take them? Please, I need 2 hours of sleep, an hour. And they could be like, I got you, I got you. I know that that's going to be a possibility, that I can just like go to my parents' room and put the kiddo in their middle of them. I'm like, I'm gonna go to bed now. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Yeah, those are all, I mean, those are all normal things. Like, I mean, there's still days for me that I'm like, what the fuck? Like I tell the girls, like, I'm honestly like lost right now because the next step in my childhood was to beat your ass. And I don't want to do that. But I'm like, almost a lot of times I've cried of frustration. Like, what the fuck do I do now? Like, nothing is fucking working. They don't give a shit. They're not listening to me. And you have these things, and uh but also that everything is so like doesn't the stages don't last. So you're always growing, you're always
Mhm.
changing, and your struggles as a parent are always going to change based on how old they are, like based on their growing up. Like first they're going to be like, oh my god, so many fucking diapers, so many fucking breastfeeding or formula, and the breastfeeding is a pain in the ass, the formula is a pain in the ass, and then the shit is gone, and then you're like, oh, Now I gotta worry about them fucking starting to walk, and now they're fucking getting into everything. So now instead of you hated that you had to be in the bed watching them, and now when they're walking around, you're like, fuck. Now I gotta be on top of you and make sure you don't get into anything and all those things, you know. But just like everything else, the more you work on yourself, the more patience you're gonna have, and the more shit's not even gonna bother you, you know. Like I just accept it already, and like I'm not as yeah, there's those days, but it's not as bad as it used to be for my own because of my own work that I had to do, you know. But yeah, I mean, you kind of covered all most of the questions that I was gonna ask because I did have if how community showing up for you, what you're looking forward to, and shit. I think the only part of before we finish is inviting the listeners to go into that space to ask yourself, why is it that this is happening? Why is it that I believe this thing? Why is it that I've been thinking about this? um why is it that I think I'm not gonna have kids, or how did I come to this decision, and why, and all those? Because I would hate for you knowing I would hate knowing that you yourself, Norma, really wanted kids but never dove in there to know, and took the advice or coped and said, nah, I don't want it because other people's opinions, or because how other people treated me, or because the trauma that I had. Like that would fucking suck that you don't give yourself this beautiful fucking gift because you accepted the reality of the burdens because you were seen as a fucking burden and all that, you know? And now you don't want to give that to them because, oh, they're just going to be a burden, and you believe that shit. Like, go in there. Again, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be painful. You're gonna cry. You're gonna fucking hate it. You're gonna hate the people that did this to you. You're gonna fucking go through this journey, then understanding them, and then forgiving them, and then healing, and then you're like, ah, maybe I should have a kid, you know. But it's gonna be really tough and hard to go again to somewhere that you've been avoiding, that you don't want to tap in, because I'm pretty sure we all know what the fuck we gotta do to a certain degree, but lean in there and figure out what's the real reason and why you want to do it, you know, because more than likely, I want to say it's kind of hard for me to, again, to say biologically we all have that wired in our fucking in our thing, and look at the reasons why you don't want to do it, you know.
Yeah.
And by your own healing, also at the same time, we get to the point that you made. You'll build a community. You'll find people that can show up for you. You'll find those people, and you'll know that you can count on them to just vent, to fucking drop off the baby, to do whatever it is that you need to, you know. You'll find those people along the way. Um, so if it's for the money wise or all that, you'll figure it out. I told you last time. Um, yes, I just said financially, but it's more for me. It's not even about what I said about not having money. It's about the stability, right? Like for me, our my role specifically is switching the roles that we have, and me doing that. But I've never noticed how much more expensive it is to have kids. Like it's not like exponentially is gonna spike your shit to just be like, I won't have kids. Now, it depends on your perspective. You want to have private school, you want to have fucking all fucking organic food, you want to do all this shit and all that. Like, yeah, of course it's gonna be much more expensive than all those things, you know. But I don't live like that. I don't put them in the schools. Like I really, yes, I want them to build curiosity and education so that they have growth and help them find their own path and find information. But I couldn't give a shit about their grades or anything. So I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to put you in a high end school, you know? I don't think it's a huge expense other than fucking baby formula. Baby formula is a fucking bitch. I remember
I'm gonna like stimulate the fuck out of my boobies to be like, come on, like
that motherfucker was like, at some point it was like $60 like every 5 days, and I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, what is the hell? And then it just hits the threshold that they don't need formula. I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God. You know. But I think it's the same thing as like, you'll make money and you'll prioritize shit when you have them, because you'll see the world differently, you know. You'll start making those changes. You're maybe not gonna go out as much. Like the fucking concert is not gonna matter to you. The fucking Jordans or the Gucci bullshit is not gonna matter to you because now
all
you have a
that
baby that
like
you
already
love more
doesn't
than,
matter to
yeah.
me.
You love that fucking kid more than your Gucci shoes or your fucking concerts or whatever the fuck. So it's not even gonna be like, oh, making a sacrifice. Like, nah, it's just what I need to do to continue to take care of this thing, this kid. But
And maybe it's too naive for me to think this way, but I I want to, because I don't remember who it was that told me. I don't remember who I was talking to, but they're like, okay, well, you're gonna have to like stop traveling so much, and I'm like, motherfucking better believe that I'm gonna be traveling with the bump. I'm like, get me in to this. Like, I'm gonna travel with this child. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know, but again, like
it's just,
because
it's the same thing. It's just such a short stage. You get me? Like you're gonna be pregnant for 9 fucking months. And like it's not like you're gonna be pregnant forever, and it's not like your kid's gonna be little forever. Like I just imagine, and I this is the reason to make the argument against not having another baby, because I'm like, hey, we get to fucking chill. Like we get to have conversations with them. We get to take them to experience fucking the world, and we don't gotta be worried about diapers or worry about any kind of shit. So now imagine how beautiful it's gonna be that in 5, 7 years you get to fucking bring the kid with you to Costa Rica.
yeah. Oh, I'm
Like
gonna bring you in the babies. Like, we're gonna
that's
go to the mosquito beach.
that's what I'm saying, right? You're gonna do all that stuff, but just how beautiful it is, when they're a little bit older and you get to actually have those things. It's different. I'm telling you, it's such a
Yeah,
stage thing that people actually, when they think about having kids, they think about it as like such a short time. Like another friend of a friend of a friend. Oh, why you do not want to have kids? Oh, because I don't want them to mess with my tools, and I want to be able to have time to work on my car. And I'm like, motherfucker, he's gonna be 7, 8, 9, 10, and he's gonna be sitting there with you, listening to the music that you like, asking you what is this part of the car, what is that part of the car, and you're gonna enjoy the shit out of it because he's there with you, or she's there with you, going in the same journey that you are, and you're fucking passionate. Again, they're gonna be passionate about a lot of the things that you're passionate because that's what you're exposing them to, and they're gonna fucking love that. But why you acting like you're gonna have a baby that's gonna fucking be 2 years old for the rest of their lives? You know?
yeah, yeah. I hope that they get into running. It would be so
Mhm.
cool. I've been watching
Mhm.
like this uh like little kids like doing like I I think he was maybe, I don't know, like 2 years old, and he did like a 2 kilometer race. It was the cutest thing ever. And I'm like, my child's gonna run with me. So I'm gonna have to get one of those expensive strollers so I can do marathons with them. Um, or like another one, like a person that likes to I don't know, they're like on a mountain bike or something, like and the kid is on the middle part, and they have like their own little bar handles. And that's essentially what I'm looking forward to. Like, I want them to mold, or not mold, but like I don't want to mold my life around them necessarily. Like, I still will be an individual human being, and I want to still do the things that I like to do.
Mhm.
Um, so I want them to be integrated
Yeah,
into that. So I don't
yeah,
want to lose myself
yeah.
by being
You
a mom.
won't. I mean, the only shit is gonna be a little tougher when they're babies and shit like that. But like the more that they get older, but see, the shit is gonna be like you said. I'm completely fine when sending them over there, but you're gonna fucking hate it when they don't longer sleep in your bed. I want my own space and I want my own bed and I want to be able to fucking do starfish. You're gonna fall in love with the fucking little body not letting you starfish. And the moment that she says, "Mommy, can I have my own bed?" or "I'm gonna stay there," or the first day that she sleeps in her own bed, you're gonna be fucking crying that now you get to starfish again.
I
You get
want
me?
more.
Literally, that's what happens. That's what happened. At least that's what happened to me one time. Like with Aliyah was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go sleep with Mia's room," and me and Taylor were like, "What the fuck? What the fuck happened?" And we were all sad that she wasn't longer interested in, at least for that night, to be there. But
Yeah.
it's so beautiful. But yeah. All right. So yes, in conclusion, go again. Like it is most of the end of the all the episodes. Go look into the shit you don't want to look at, and
Yeah.
That way you can have control and you can make the decision, and you're not letting those fears, those traumas, those things kind of like dictate your life, and you're able to kind of make your own decision and have the freedom to decide what you want to do, what you don't want to do. And now you can actually live a life that you want versus living based of opinions of other people and shit. Right. All right. You're gonna say the tagline, or you want me to say
And remember,
it?
in order to grow, you gotta let go.
All right, guys. Peace.